Welcome to our channel. Public health dentistry is a final year subject for BDS students. As we all know, the subject is quite different than the other subjects. But if you understand the concepts well, you can perform well in your exams. So I am here to help you all in understanding some basic concepts in public health dentistry. Today we are discussing the first chapter, that is Introduction to Public Health. I am using Soben Peter as the reference. So let's start the session. In this session, I am included public health, history of public health, changing concepts of health and concepts of causation. First of all, we have to know what is health and what is public health. Health has so many definitions, but the most relevant one is the WHO definition. You have to study the WHO definition for health. According to WHO, health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. According to WHO, health does not mean that the absence of disease. Health means a complete state of physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease and infirmity. You have to by heart this definition. Next is the definition of public health. Definition of public health was given by Winslow in the year 1920. Winslow's definition of public health. According to Winslow, public health is the science and art of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health and efficiency through organized community effort for the sanitization of the environment, the control of communicable infections, the education of the individual in personal hygiene, the organization of medical and nursing services for the early diagnosis and preventive treatment of disease, and for the development of social machinery to ensure everyone a standard of living adequate for the maintenance of health. So, organizing these benefits as to enable every citizen to realize his or her birthright of health and longevity. Uh, this is a longer definition, but you have to study this. You have to study by making it parts by parts. According to Winslow, public health is science and art of preventing disease. So, according to Winslow, what are the objectives of public health? Objectives. Objectives are preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health and efficiency. Public health is the science and art of. Then you say the objectives of public health, that is preventing the disease, prolonging life, and promoting health and efficiency. Through what? Through organized community effort. Through organized community effort. And then comes then he says about the measures. What are the measures to take? Measures to be taken for achieving these objectives. These measures are sanitization of the environment, control of communicable infections, the education of individual in personal hygiene, organization of medical and nursing services for the early diagnosis and preventive treatment of disease, and for the machinery and for the development of the social machinery to ensure everyone a standard of living adequate for maintenance of health. So what are the measures to be taken for achieving these objectives? Sanitization of the environment. The physical environment should be sanitized, and by that we can control the communicable infections. Communicable infections means infections that can be spread from person to person. Then we have to educate each individual about personal hygiene. Then we have to organize medical and nursing services which helps for early diagnosis and preventive treatment of the disease, and for development of a social machinery to ensure everyone a standard of living adequate for the maintenance of health. So, organizing these benefits as to enable every citizen to realize his or her birthright of health and longevity. This is the definition of public health by Winslow. According to Winslow, public health is the science and art of preventing disease, prolonging life, and promoting health and efficiency through organized community effort for the sanitization of the environment, control of communicable infections, and education of the individual in personal hygiene, the organization of medical and nursing services for early diagnosis and preventive treatment of the disease, and for the development of social machinery to ensure everyone a standard of living adequate for the maintenance of health. So, organizing these benefits as to enable every citizen to realize his or her birthright of health and longevity. Next, history of public health. Public health has a long and interesting history. First of all, we can look into Edward Jenner's experiment. In 1796, during that time, smallpox was a deadly disease, and this scientist Edward Jenner he inoculated cowpox virus in an 8-year-old boy. Cowpox virus Cowpox virus was very similar to smallpox virus. He inoculated this cowpox virus in an 8-year-old boy, and he found that the 8-year-old boy was immune to smallpox virus. That was the first experiment. Edward Jenner. Then another theory, the Miasma theory. It held that diseases such as cholera or black death were caused by miasma, a poisonous vapor or mist that is filled with particles from decomposed matter. After Jenner's discovery, miasma theory originated. This theory states that diseases are caused by miasma. Diseases are caused by miasma. Miasma means pollution. Miasma means pollution, or it is a poisonous vapor or mist that is filled with particles from decomposed matter. The poisonous vapor or mist that is filled with particles from decomposed matter is called miasma. According to miasma theory, it states that diseases are caused by miasma. But this theory is not popularly accepted. Then comes the germ theory. According to germ theory, microorganisms are the cause for diseases. According to germ theory, microorganisms are the cause for diseases. And this theory is contributed by Dr. John Snow. John Snow introduced the germ theory. According to this theory, microorganisms are the causative agents for disease. And this is an important point. Father of public health, cholera. Cholera is called as father of public health. These are the history of public health. Next topic is changing concepts of health. Mainly there are 4 concepts: biomedical concept, ecological concept, psychosocial concept, and holistic concept. At first, biomedical concept. This biomedical concept was based on the germ theory of disease. Biomedical concept was based on germ theory of disease. Biomedical concept means health. Health means absence of disease. According to biomedical concept, health is the absence of disease. This is based on the germ theory of disease. But this is not a popular theory. It is not accepted. The next is ecological concept. According to ecological concept, health means a dynamic equilibrium. Health means a dynamic equilibrium between man and his environment. according to ecological concept, health means dynamic equilibrium between man and his environment. If any maladjustment occurs between man and his environment, it causes disease. According to ecological concept, any maladjustment in the environment, it will cause disease. Next is psychosocial concept. In psychosocial concept, health is not viewed as a biomedical phenomenon, but health is influenced by social, psychological, cultural, economic and political factors. So, the health is considered as both a biological and social phenomenon. According to psychosocial concept, health is not viewed as a biomedical concept. Health is influenced by social, psychological, cultural, economic and political factors. So health is considered as both biological and social phenomenon. The next and last concept is the holistic concept. According to this concept, all sectors of the society has an effect on health. The health is affected by all the sectors of the society. This holistic concept emphasizes on promotion and protection of health. Holistic concept emphasizes on promotion and protection of health. Then according to this, health and disease, they lie along a continuum and there is not a single cut-off point. And if this is the healthy region, this is the diseased state, the lowest point in this chart is the death. Lowest point is death and at highest point is positive health. Positive health means it is according to the WHO definition. Positive health, then comes the better health. Positive health, then better health, then comes freedom from sickness. Then unrecognized sickness, mild sickness, severe sickness, then death. So on the top there is positive health, at the lowest point there is death. In between are the different stages of health and diseases. These are the concepts of health. Concepts of causation. First one is epidemiological triad. According to this concept, diseases are caused by interactions between agent, host and environment. Diseases are caused by interactions between agent, host and environment. This is called epidemiological triad. Agent, host and environment. These three together constitute the epidemiological triad. Triad means three. So first of all, host. Who is host? First of all, agent. The agent may be living or non-living. If the agent is living, it may be bacteria, fungus, virus, etc. If it is non-living, it can be a chemical agent. Chemical agent means the chemical agent may be internal or external. Internal chemical agent means the chemicals which are produced inside our body, such as urea and ketone bodies. If urea is increased in our body, it implies that the person is suffering from a renal disease. If ketone bodies are high in our body, it implies that the person is diabetic. These are the substances which are produced inside our body. Then external agents like heavy metals, that is lead, arsenic, mercury, etc. These can cause diseases. So these are external chemical agents. Then the agents can be physical. Physical means the atmospheric pressure and temperature. atmospheric pressure and temperature. The temperature rise or fall may cause some diseases, and if the atmospheric air is containing poisonous or pollutant gases, it may lead to certain diseases. So these are the physical agents, and the agent may be nutrient substance. The agent can be a nutrient substance such as proteins, fat, carbohydrate, etc. For example, if excess of carbohydrate, then it may lead to diabetes mellitus. So the agent can be living or non-living. In living, it is bacteria, protozoa, fungus, etc. Then chemical, that is internal or external chemical agents. Then physical agents. Then nutrient substance. Now, host. Host means what? Host means the human itself. We all know every person reacts differently to the environment. So, each person is different, and everyone will react different for an environment. So, there are some host factors. There are some host factors which will influence the disease process. What are they? The host factors are, first of all, the demographic characteristics. First of all, demographic characteristics. Demographic characteristics means we cannot change this or we cannot alter this. That is age, sex, etc. We cannot alter this or we cannot modify these characteristics. Host factors. First one is demographic. Demographic means we cannot alter or modify these things, such as age, sex, etc. The next is the biological characteristics. Biological characteristics. Biological characteristics includes the genetic makeup, physiological and biological characteristic, immune status, nutritional status, etc. Biological characteristics means genetic constitution of the person, then immune status of the person, then nutritional status of the person. And these biological factors, we can modify these factors. The next is socio-economic characteristics. Socio-economic characteristic like what social class, religion, marital status, education. These are the socio-economic characteristics. The last one is lifestyle. Lifestyle means living habits, food habits, etc. Lifestyle means food habits, living habits, etc. Food habits, living habits, etc. So these are the host factors. And first, demographic factors which cannot be altered or modified. Example, age, sex, etc. Then biological characteristics. This constitute the genetic constitution, immune status, and nutritional status of the person. Then socio-economic characteristics, which include the social class, religion, and marital status and education. Then the lifestyle characteristics, which includes food habits, living habits, etc. These are the host characteristics. The next one is the environment. Environment is the surrounding in which the man is living. According to the environment or environmental characteristics, the disease can be progressed. So, for a disease to be progressed, there are three main factors. That is the epidemiological triad, the agent, the host, and the environment. This is the epidemiological triad concept. Next is the multifactorial causation. This concept is put forward by Pete and Koffer of Munich. According to this theory, disease is not caused by a single causative agent, or disease is not a single cause phenomenon. Disease is not a single cause phenomenon, but it is multifactorial. Multiple factors can influence the disease progress. So, if we observe the coronary heart disease or cancer, we can see there are multiple factors which are causing these diseases. For an example, if we are taking cancer, then we know what tobacco smoking. Tobacco smoking can cause lung cancer. Then certain cancers are familial or hereditary, and also if a person has a genetic constitution which favors progression of cancer, he or she may develop cancer. Then the exposure to certain industrial gases, this may also cause cancer. Industrial gases or substance. So we know tobacco smoking can cause cancer. Then some cancers are hereditary, some are genetic. Then what exposure to certain substances like benzene or certain poisonous gases may cause cancer. So the disease is a multifactorial concept. The disease is influenced by multiple factors. So this theory offers multiple approaches for prevention of the disease. Multiple approaches for prevention of the disease. So if we have to prevent the cancer, what we can do? We can stop tobacco smoking. So we can modify this factor. This is an approach for prevention of the disease. We can prevent tobacco smoking, or we can take measurements to reduce the exposure of these poisonous gases or substances in industries, or we can modify the genetic factors or genetic constitution of an individual, or in case of hereditary or in case of familial history for the cancer, we can give counseling, or what early diagnosis, to take measurements for early diagnosis and treatment. So this multifactorial causation theory gives multiple approaches for prevention of the disease. Next is the natural history of disease. According to this theory, there are two phases for disease. First one is period of pre-pathogenesis. At this stage, the pathogen means the agent. The agent which is causing the disease is called a pathogen. During the period of pre-pathogenesis, the pathogen is not entered into the body of the host. The next is period of pathogenesis, which means the pathogen is entered into the body and the disease progression has started. This stage, the period of pathogenesis, will end in recovery or disability or death. Once the period of pathogenesis occurred, it will lead to recovery or disability or death. This is the concept of natural history of disease. Web of causation. This concept was given by McMahon and Pugh. According to web of causation, disease is the result of interaction between multiple factors. Disease is the result of interaction between multiple factors. This is put forth by McMahon and Pugh. Here is an example. As age advances, the amount of saliva reduces. This will constitute to poor oral hygiene. And also malaligned teeth also constitute to poor oral hygiene. Then socioeconomic status. If the person belong to a lower socioeconomic status, then there will be lack of knowledge. And due to lack of knowledge, the person may consume more diet which will cause caries. And also due to the lack of knowledge, uh, there will be poor oral hygiene. Then these factors together will constitute for the growth of karyogenic microorganisms, and this will cause general caries. That is the web of causation. That is, interaction between multiple factors will cause disease. And if we can remove any of these factors which may be enough to control the disease, if we are providing knowledge to the person, then the person's oral hygiene can be improved. So the person improves his oral hygiene. And if we provide knowledge about oral hygiene, the person may be more conscious about his diet. And also if the person is aware of the malaligned teeth and the consequences or due to that, the person will correct it, and we can avoid this factor also. That is the concept of web of causation. That is, disease is caused by the interaction between multiple factors. Risk factors and risk groups. The risk factor means it is an attribute or exposure that is significantly associated with the disease. Risk factor means it is an attribute or an exposure that is significantly associated with the disease. And risk group means those who are exposed to the risk factors. Those who are exposed to the risk factors are called the risk groups. Combination of risk factors in same individual may be purely additive or synergistic. This means that we all know that smoking causes oral cancer. Smoking causes oral cancer, and also the use of pan masalas. Use of pan masalas also cause oral cancer. If a person is smoking, he has a X percentage chance to develop oral cancer. If a person is using pan masalas, he has Y percentage chance to develop oral cancer. If a person is a smoker and also he is using pan masala, then there is an additive effect, that is X percentage plus Y percentage. That is that percentage chances of developing the oral cancer. This is what it is meant by the additive or synergistic effect. The combination of risk factors in same individual may be purely additive or synergistic. There are modifiable risk factors and non-modifiable risk factors. The modifiable risk factors means we can alter or modify these risk factors. These are such as what smoking, use of fan masalas or hypertension, etc. We can modify these habits or these risk factors. These are called the modifiable risk factors. And there are certain risk factors that we cannot modify. Examples of these are age, sex, race, family, etc. Family history, etc. Non-modified risk factors are age, sex, race, family history, genetic factors, etc. They are not subjected to change or alteration. So, it is stated that a risk factor is a proxy for need, indicating the need for promotive and preventive health services. This is the concept of risk factors and risk group. Then is the risk approach. It is summed up as something for all but more for those in need in proportion to the need. This means we have to identify precisely the risk groups or target group. To modify the risk factors, we have to identify the risk groups precisely, and we can take measurements to modify the risk factors for all persons, but more for those in need. For example, the risk approach means, first of all, we have to identify the risk groups. Risk groups. That's for an example. This is an area. This is an area. Here, there is the atmospheric air is filled with poisonous gases. Atmospheric air is filled with poisonous gases, and here it is fresh air. So this is our target area or risk group or target group. So we can take measurements for reducing the poisonous gases and improve the quality of the people. We are taking measurements to improve the quality of air intake for people in these two areas, but more for this risk group area or target group area. This is called risk approach. That is something for all, but more for those in need, in proportion to the need. Here we are planning X number of uh, measurements, but here only X by 4. That is in need, that is in proportion to the need. According to the proportion, we are taking measurements. That is risk approach. The next concept of causation is the spectrum of disease. Spectrum of disease. It's a graphic representation of the variations in manifestation of the disease. It is a graphic representation of variations in the manifestations of disease. It is a sequence of events that occur in human host from the time of contact with the pathogen or with the etiologic agent up to the point of ultimate outcome, which may be fatal in extreme cases. That is, this graphic representation extends from the subclinical infection. That is, there is no symptoms, signs or symptoms, from subclinical infections to fatal illness. Progression through the spectrum can be decelerated or halted by preventive or therapeutic measures. These all the steps of disease progression. We can halt or prevent or decelerate the progression of the disease through preventive or therapeutic measures. This is a spectrum of disease from subclinical infection to fatal illness. This is a graphic representation. We can decelerate or halt the progression of the disease by therapeutic measures or preventive measures. This is the concept of spectrum of disease. The next and last concept is the iceberg of disease. Iceberg phenomena means the health professionals see only a small part of the illness in the community, just as only a small part of an iceberg is visible above the surface of the water. That is, this is the tip of the iceberg. Actually, the iceberg is this much larger, but we can only see the tip of the iceberg as shown in the figure. This is the cases we can see or visible to the health professionals. These are the cases visible to the health professionals as the tip of the iceberg. But there are actually this much of diseases in the community. But these are hidden. The health professionals cannot identify these diseases. Hidden cases means they may be asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic or undiagnosed or latent or deliberately ignored. So the health professionals see only a small part of the diseases or illness in the community, and the large part of the iceberg is submerged, and this remains as the hidden cases. This is the concept of iceberg phenomenon. So this much is for today. We can continue the remaining topics in next videos. Hope you are all understood and enjoyed the video. If you think it is helpful, please like, share and subscribe the channel. If you have any doubt, please comment below the video in the comment box. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you so much.